Congratulate Seferina Engen from Taipei American School as this year's recipient of the SENIA Student Award. Seferina helped organize more than 100 volunteers to run the Hero Games, a Special Olympics for special needs kids in Taiwan. She also became president of Operation Smile, an association which raises money and awareness for kids with cleft palate for her school. She's the founder of Make It Shine, where she developed a partnership with a local NGO to help special needs students reach their potential through sports and arts. And she's very grateful to everyone that has ever helped her. And I would like to mention those people now. I'm just going to do it sort of broadly. So her family and the teachers that have supported Seferina along her way. Would you please stand up to get a round of applause? Listen to Seferina's incredible journey, and she's going to share that in her own words. Congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I would like to begin with two confessions. The first is I'm a bit nervous. In general, I have pervasive anxiety. I almost never talk publicly about these things, and certainly not in front of a huge gathering like this. My fear of failure has always been a double-edged sword. On the one hand, it has pushed me to work harder than I ever thought possible, but on the other hand, it makes occasions such as this panic city. Okay, now that my first confession is out of the way, I can share with you my second. I'm done. Or at least that is what I thought. That tends to happen when everyone around you thinks the same. I remember what it felt like when I was in Geneva, trying to learn how to read. I knew each word, but together they had no meaning. I remember being disheartened in Texas when I heard I was a full 3 grade levels behind. They put me in ESL because they didn't know what else to do with me. I remember the sadness of being socially excluded in Belgium. Fortunately, there was another special needs kid. We could stick together. I remember the struggle to get accommodations from the French government to take the French national exam for 9th grade. I remember 9 schools in 2 languages on 3 continents, all with an 8th percentile cognitive proficiency index, processing speed and working memory. It's been quite a ride. The truth is, I never would have made it without a lot of help. I remember that too. The first breakthrough came in 2nd grade with Mrs. Benyon, my first special needs teacher. She taught me how to be hyper-organized externally to compensate for my inability to internally organize my thoughts. She also taught me how any problem, no matter how big and seemingly insurmountable, can be solved by breaking everything down into smaller and smaller doable steps. The second pivotal point came when Dr. Ricky Richardson, the head of the special clinic in London, explained my results after a week-long battery of testing. He said, "My dear, you're not dumb, but due to suspected rare genetic disorder, you're missing a few key circuits in your brain, and that will never change." He explained to me that neuroplasticity is the most important word in the English language, and with enough effort and right learning methods, there is nothing I can't accomplish. He then showed me the cartoon of the test proctor telling the dog, the fish, the elephant, and the monkey, for a fair selection, everybody has to take the exam. Climb that tree. That conversation and this image changed my life. But probably the person who has made the biggest difference in my life is Dr. Pasquini, who is here with us today. When I first arrived in Taipei, I felt like I was suddenly on an Asian academic autobahn with no way to keep up. This sent my anxiety, which has always haunted me, through the roof. Dr. Pasquini helped me learn how to stop chasing external rainbows and instead have faith in my potential. She also helped me realize something fundamental about myself. I do best when I'm thrown into an environment where essentially everybody is better than me. She said, "You don't just rise to the occasion, you systematically jump trajectories. Look at your life, this is what you do." Let's give it up for all special needs teachers who believe in their students like Dr. Pasquini does. Woo! If she hadn't believed in me, I certainly wouldn't be here today. Inspired by Dr. Pasquini's example, I realized what I want to do with my life. I want to do for others what she and so many others have done for me. I've always believed that my learning differences were something to hide, something to be ashamed of. But Mr. Neal, my college counselor, said I should own them with pride. It's society's construction of normal that creates abnormal, as if that were some problem. It's interesting how a pervasive thing is largely invisible, like water to a fish. But once we start investigating, we find it everywhere. So it is with ableism. Why does everyone seem the same? Why does everybody try to be the same? It's because as a society, we have a narrow definition of what is normal, and then we place value judgments condemning everything that is somehow different. We see this with social definitions of beauty, academic excellence, physical capabilities, and even ways of learning, knowing, learning, and thinking. Anything that deviates from these artificially constructing ideals are somehow a problem. For example, Amazon is filled with books about the autism epidemic. Why are we ready to throw away hope for 1 in 59 children just because they experience the world differently? What does being slow, like me, have to do with being intelligent, wise, or even kind? The entire neoliberal economy, skills-based immigration reform, and the quest for gene editing are all grounded in ableist thinking. I reject this entirely. People who are different are not broken, nor do they need to be fixed. Rather, their differences need to be accommodated and their uniqueness harnessed. If only certain traits are valued, we miss the possibilities that come from difference. As Dr. Barry Brisson perfectly put it, we are all uniquely human. A diverse ecosystem is more vibrant, rich, and adaptive. The same is true for our diverse humanity. Wisdom understands every difference is equally good, just in different ways. If we want all of society, and each individual within it, to realize their full potential, we need to move beyond our narrow blinders of ableism and embrace the humbling beauty of human diversity. LGBT pride, Black pride, all of these things are obvious in hindsight. Why not pride in unique brain wiring? It doesn't make us dumb, it just makes us different. I reject this whole label of disability. We are not disabled and we are not dumb. We just think differently. Neurodiversity is a gift to the world, not a problem to be overcome. I'm confident one day we will look back at ableism the same way we now look at homophobia and racism, and misguided ignorance which masks the beauty of difference. Why am I confident of this? Because of organizations like SENIA. Margaret Mead once famously said, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has." I realized long ago it is not enough to hope society changes. I need to bring about the changes I seek myself, or at least try my best to help others in any way I can, given that I'm a privileged high school student. Working in the summer as a teaching assistant at Taipei American School gave me first-hand classroom experience, and serving as a camp counselor's assistant to help autistic children attend summer camp taught me relating to the good in others helps draw it out. Organizing more than 100 volunteers to run the Hero Games, a Special Olympics for special needs kids in Taiwan, and becoming president of Operation Smile, an association which raises money and awareness for kids with cleft palate, brought many lessons in organizing and motivating people. And most importantly, founding Make It Shine, a partnership with a local NGO to help children with special needs explore their creativity through art and sports, an initiative that was awarded several thousands of dollars by the J. Kirby Simon Foreign Service Trust, gave me the confidence to take entrepreneurial risks. Next year, I will begin my university studies in special education. Whether it will be at the University College of London, St. Andrews, or somewhere else, I do not know. But one thing is certain, I want to do for others what my special education teachers and psychologists have done for me. This is the clear purpose to which I have set my life. You see, it is because I remember what it was like that I will never forget. I remember what it was like, and I remember who got me to where I am today. There is a Navajo principle that the way we say thank you is to do for others what others have done for you. Mrs. Benyon, Dr. Richardson, Dr. Pasquini, Mr. Neal, members of SENIA, and all my other special needs teachers, my life will be my thank you. Thank you.